What's going on, tubes? So unfortunately, spring is here. And I think this weekend I'm going to be tearing down my 300 TPI Snowbike here. I had a great season, a couple great trips to Canada, some great trips up north. We could always use more snow, but hey, that's New England for you. So I've had a really great time on this 300 TPI Snowbike. This is my second year on this bike, and this is my fourth season snowbiking total. So I want to walk through what I've done to this bike, the setup that I have, what I like, what I don't like, so forth and so on. The setup that I have is what I would consider to be kind of like the bare minimum that you need to get out there and really enjoy and experience the sport. If you are to go any less, you're probably not going to get the full experience. And I'll explain why later on in the video. But the selection that I have, the selection of parts here that I have really made this bike go well. And so it just from experience here, if you go less, you're not going to have as much fun. So I'll walk you through step by step what I've done to this bike, the setup, again, what I like and what I don't like, and you guys will see. So stay tuned. All right, so I'm going to start kind of from the front end here. One of the most common questions I get asked is why did I chop my fender? Well, why not? I mean, what do you need a dirt fender for when you're riding a snow bike? The fender simply just gets in the way. So not only did I chop it at the front here, but I've completely removed the back section. This just kind of aids in airflow and so forth and so on. This is actually an old FC 350 fender that I had kicking around. I like it because it's got a square shape to it. Some of the newer ones, they got this kind of ziggy zag thing going here. You can put any fender from like 2011, I think, on one of these. So if you got an older one kicking around or your buddy's got one, go ahead and hack one up. It's quick and easy, and then you're not going to trash your summer fender. So on the forks, these are the stock Explorer forks. They've been resprung. I believe it's the stiffest spring you can get for them, which is like a 6.4 spring. I know some guys have some custom-made springs, but for my weight, I'm about 180 pounds. That's worked well for me. I got these neoprene sleeves here. And then I've cut a pair of fork guards to fit, and that's worked great. On the ski here, this is one thing I highly, highly endorse. The Solo Scratcher, all right? These things work phenomenal for kicking snow up and preventing you from losing your Hyfaxes. All right? Look at those Hyfaxes. Nothing is missing from there. They're absolutely perfect. And I've ridden on a lot of boilerplate conditions. And that is because of this little thing. It's amazing how much snow that thing kicks up. And they're cheap. Well, I say they're cheap. The price has gone up on them, probably because they've gotten popular. I think they're like $80 now. They used to be like, 45, 50, but just buy one. You need it, okay? If you ever run on boilerplate conditions, which happens sometimes, you're gonna need one. I see people run the scratchers back there. You can do that too, but it's just more parts. Look at that. Look at how quick and easy that thing is. All right, let's talk about engine setup and performance here. These TPIs like to run warm, and they like to be kept warm. There's several things you can do to keep it that way. So number 1, engine jacket. Number 2, pipe wrap. Number 3, thermostat. Can you run the stock thermostat? Yes, but it's probably not going to be warm enough. You're going to want one of the C3 175 degree thermostats, which you can kind of see through there. Engine jacket, I do a homemade one. They're real cheap and easy. You can buy this stuff on the internet. There's several write-ups around that. Actually, I have a previous video on the engine jacket that I made. Those work really well. Keep these engines from turning to ice blocks, which they will if you don't run one. Pipe department. I'm running an FMF factory fatty with a P3 carbon guard here, and it is wrapped. And this is 2-inch wrap from here, and then starting from about there where the pipe gets curvy, I go to 1-inch. You're gonna have to rewrap it every year. This stuff gets all torn up, as you can see. But it works really well at keeping the pipe hot. And if you know anything about two-strokes, they like to have the pipe warm. So that's how you do it. Radiators. I am running the bulletproof radiator guards, as you can see. And what's nice about them is they got little screw holes here. And I've made a little plate, a blocker plate. I do have 2 other bolts that I put here and here, but I've made a little plate blocker out of an old cutting board. It takes me about a minute to put it on and take it off. And I run this on the really, really cold days, real cold, powdery days, because what will happen is these radiators will just kind of freeze up if you don't. You're probably going to ask what happened here. Yeah, that broke off, but you know what? I kind of like it like that. I might actually trim up the other side so it'll match. But again, what's nice with a thermostat too is you can run the coolant bars, which are just such a nice feature. I mean, they just get so hot. My hands get really, really cold easily, and I have really just enjoyed having those C3 coolant bars. I mean, if you could have told me year one that I needed to have them, I should have done it then. But anyways, highly recommend those. And again, with the thermostat, you can run, the trail tack, thermometer or whatnot. It's a nice feature to have, so you monitor your engine temps. Oh, so I forgot to mention about the performance side of things too. So on this bike, I have the FMF fatty pipe. I have an S3 high compression head. Those two additions right there really wake the bike up. I do not have any tuning yet. I'm still running the stock ECU flash. I do know it has the latest, the 103 map on it. I'm kind of waiting and seeing what they come out with. At this moment, they're really pushing products for these TPIs, and I'm just kind of waiting for this summer to pass to see what I'm gonna do. But this time next year, I will without a doubt have some sort of performance package on this bike, whether it be one of the injector relocator kits or just a reflash from TSP or one of the other tuners that are out there. But I know a lot of people are really coming out with some amazing products for these bikes. So I'm not going to speak too soon on the performance side, but definitely the head and the pipe really wake the bike up. Another real easy thing to do: MX throttle cam and red power valve spring. Those are pretty much, free, essentially. Your MX throttle cam is going to come with your bike kit, and the red power valve spring you can get for pennies. And that will really help get the bike in the power band. And also get a power valve adjust tool. I opened mine up or turned it out about a half a turn, and that really helped get the bike in the power band sooner, which is what you want. All right, I'll talk about intake here. I'm running the C3 intake. I think C3 is one of the only ones who actually makes intakes for these TPIs. I could be wrong, but anyways, works all right. Does the job. I've basically completely butchered my stock airbox. So what I recommend, just go ahead and buy another airbox. They're cheap. They're literally like 40 bucks. As you can see, I cut the bottom out of it. Actually, I put a little piece of that same material that I use for my engine jacket here just to kind of keep the snow dust from coming up in here. And I've never had a problem with it. Snow stays out of it. Hey, what more can you say? Talk about some ergonomic type stuff here. This Seat Concept seat is definitely a fantastic addition to these bikes. I have the low one, which I like, puts me in a little lower position. I'm kind of a shorter guy. So, yeah, can't go wrong with the Seat Concept seat. I got the Enduro Engineering handguards, definitely a must. Some sort of wraparound handguard. In the summer, I like to run the flags, but I don't like them in the winter. You really need the full protection from these wraparound ones. It helps too, like if the bike's tipped over, you can use this as a grab lever to help pull the bike up. I have the Moose Racing kind of extenders on here. Those work good. I think for next year, though, I think I'm going to try the C3 handguards. I really like I think they call them the force field ones because they come all the way around. They cover a lot more area. That way I can kind of get rid of these, just kind of simplify the setup. Another thing I forgot to mention here, these little Enduro Engineering sleeves, they work fantastic. And what it does is just keeps your digits off that cold aluminum. I mean, you guys all know how cold these levers get when on a cold day, and just that little bit of whatever material that is really helps. And these things are cheap too. They're like 10 bucks. So there's another thing to add to your list. We'll talk about some electronics here. Believe it or not, I've had great luck with the stock battery. Stock lithium-ion battery. It seems to work good for me. A lot of people complain about it, but yeah, whatever. I've hardwired in one of these jump harnesses. This is from Noco. And as you can see, there's the terminals there. So if I need to jump the bike on a very, very cold day, I can use my Noco pack and just plug it right in. Takes 2 seconds. All I got to do is remove the side panel there, and the battery is connected to the booster pack here. These things work great as well. I highly recommend those. The other thing I've done, I've added a little accessory charger up here. So inside this Great Loop bag, I have a USB charger so I can charge my phone, charge any other accessories that I have. Another thing to mention kind of in the electrical department is that this bike does have the Kickstart add-on. The Kickstart does not come stock, as you guys all know. So the Kickstarter works good on a nice cold morning if you want to kind of cycle the motor through a couple revolutions before you hit the starter to it. Or in the event that your electric starter craps out or something, it's just a good insurance policy to have. I am also running what do they call that? The fan. I'm trying to think I think they call it like the extreme accessory fan or something like it's available through Husqvarna KTM. They're like $100. Plugs into your stock harness. Works well. Once you get climbing, you're going to start generating some heat with these motors. It's a good thing to have. So I guess I should touch on my kit real quick. I'm running a 2019 Aero 120. I think the 120 length with the 300 works really well. It just spools up really quickly. I get fantastic traction out of this kit. I know everyone's going to like the 3-inch tracks and so forth these days, but I go plenty of places with the 2.5. Trust me on that. I do like, it's definitely nice having the fuel caddy. I'm using the LC can. Those are really cheap. I actually got 2 of them. Got another one on the trailer, so I can just swap them out at the end of the day. And then I got this little Timbersled bag here. That works nice for keeping all your tools and whatnot in. Yeah, overall, good setup. So some other parts I like to add on in the future. I'm still running the stock foot pegs, and those will be upgraded soon enough. I'm definitely going to get something like a C3. Those foot pegs just shed snow very, very well. I noticed some other guys too, they've come up with some little, tips for the shifter that you can add on, and that's something I'll probably do as well. So on the performance side, I mean, I'm kind of just seeing what happens in the next 6 months. There's been so much development with these motors. TSP, BRC, they're all coming out with some fantastic products. So I'm just going to kind of wait till the summer comes and then kind of pull the trigger then. They got injector relocator kits and different reflashes and replacement ECUs, and there's just so much out there right now. So there definitely will be some sort of performance kit, because on the snow you need all the power you can get. So I will do some sort of update once I get that kit installed. So when you're running a TE model, it comes with pluses and minuses. One of the pluses is that these have an almost 200 watt stator. So, keeping the battery charged anytime you get a charge, any accessories, lighting, etc., you get all the power you'll ever need. The one kind of downfall I do not like about these is the W transmission. Second gear's too short, third gear's too tall. The 6th gear is nice for cruising, but my next bike will probably be something in the XC version. I just really like the Moto. I think the Moto Trans is much better suited for a snow biker. So I hope you enjoy this video, guys. I hope it points you in the right direction to go with your 300 TPI. Again, these engines are super fun on snow. I really like this bike. It's been just a blast. I wish I could throw in some. I used to be a big GoProer and video maker and so forth, but I don't. I've kind of gotten out of that. But I wish I could throw some clips in of this past winter, because this thing just got me into some amazing spots and just had so much fun on it. But anyways, as always, like, share, and subscribe. And I hope we'll see you guys out on the snow. Enjoy.